I'm Irish Nigerian, Igbo and Yoruba. My name is Peace Chapora, a primary school teacher. In my first year, I only seen like maybe 3 or 4 people, either mixed race or black.
I was acutely aware of being the only coloured person.
People are saying that we're taking over the country and there's going to be no more white Irish people. Like,
we're tiny, 1.3% of the population.
This is my journey in becoming the teacher that I never had. It's about breaking down barriers, shattering stereotypes, and encouraging others who dream that they can truly make a difference. I did try.
Welcome everybody. So my name is Faber. We have Peace, and this is the channel strip where we channel our energy into learning new things and strip away negative misconceptions. I'm supposed to have like a whole intro about you and all this kind of crap, but we'll start with just how to say your name.
So my name is Peace Chapora.
Okay.
It comes from Igbo origin.
Okay.
So my dad is Igbo. So yeah, Chapora.
Okay. So here it goes. Chakora.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
You did.
Okay, that's not too bad. I still don't know how to say Devon's name. Divine. Shout out to Devon. He's sick of me. He's like, it's not divine. Like I'm forcing him to be Nigerian.
I think it's a Nigerian thing. You know?
It's a Nigerian thing. We're trying to Devon. I was talking to my little sister about this. She plays hockey, and I won't talk too much about it because I don't think she wants me to. But she plays hockey, and she was telling me that in her thing they were mispronouncing her name, miswriting it. A lot of stuff was happening. It was really, really irking her. Mm-hmm. So we were talking about how to address that head on, but respectfully.
Yeah. And
kind of go, no, my name is XYZ, but I'm not going to turn into the angry black woman. Now, she's only 16.
Yeah.
But she's so full of life and so full of passion that sometimes I worry about her, to be honest. Because she's very, like, anti-racist and anti all these, very woke is the word. So it's trying to find that balance for her, where she can stand up for herself without becoming a stereotype.
Yeah.
The reason why I started with how to pronounce her name is obviously A, it's a sign of respect. B, it's a very personal thing. A lot of people get offended by it.
Yeah.
And I was also telling my sister about Kamala Harris. They brought her nieces on stage.
Yeah.
And they made the nieces teach everybody how to say her name. Mind you, the whole time I was mispronouncing it, I was saying Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
But it's...
First you say comma like a comma in a sentence. Then you say la like la 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 la.
Kamala Harris. So I was like, oh, interesting. And other people I brought on the channel, like Brito Parapadan, I hope I said that right. Again, I brought him on as how do we say her name. The only person I didn't do that with, actually I did do it with Devon. I did. But we focused on his last name and how to say Kyokyo. Yeah. You know? But I just think it's a sign of respect. It's a respect of heritage, respect of where you're from.
Yeah.
Say people's name properly. And I think there's no excuse.
No excuse. And I find a lot, like when I was in primary school, and this is something that I try not to do, like as I'm teaching now, is that like growing up, like I would find like a lot of teachers sometimes, let me not say all, I'm just saying some
you won't generalize it.
Yeah. That like when there'd be like maybe like a foreign name or a name that's not like Irish in the classroom, that they'd kind of struggle to like pronounce it. And like even though you might correct them, like I think sometimes people reach a certain point that they're like, you know, I'm just gonna let them call me like whatever
exactly,
it is. And that's actually not okay because names have meanings, do you know what I mean? And I don't take names for like granted. Like some people have traditional names and they mean like really significant things. So I don't think that if someone's mispronouncing your name or trying to like make it more modern just so it can suit their dialect, that you should let that go on. I think you should embrace your name, and that's something that I'm trying to do in my class. And I say to the kids, like, if I say your name wrong, make sure you let me know, like correct me, like your name has a meaning. Don't let people like change it because it's not easy for them to pronounce it, you know?
And they try to almost bully you into having a sense of convenience for them.
Yeah.
They want it to be convenient, so they want you to make it to simplify it on their behalf. It's really bad. But remind me again, because I don't think I'm actually there yet. So it's Peace.
Chakora.
Chukwara.
Yeah.
Chukwara. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
No.
But now, if you are in Nigeria and you're speaking to Igbo people, it's Chukura. But Chakura, like...
I feel like Chukura is actually easier.
Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think sometimes when
because there's less syllables.
Yeah, less syllables. Yeah.
Jukure. I can so say that.
Yeah.
So do your students call you Miss Jukure?
Yeah.
They actually do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They don't go first name.
No, not first name.
So interesting, because for me as a doctor, the fact that it's 3 syllables plus a, what you call it when you have like another part to your name, a compound name.
Yeah.
I can't be bothered. It's too much to even be teaching them. Like
Yeah.
Olufemi Ojo is a lot. I just get everybody to call me Favor.
Yeah.
Dr. Favor. And quite frankly, I try to get them to not even call me doctor. Quite frankly. Just call me Favor. It's just, well, there's a reason why I don't like the whole doctor title, but going into my surname is too long. I only put it in my notes.
Yeah.
But I don't go around calling myself Olufemi Ojo, because that's a mouthful.
Yeah. But you know, another thing about Effie and my fault is that it's like saying that like you grow up with people being like, oh, that's such a long name. Even like sometimes when I go in teaching, and if I'm subbing and I write my name down on the board and I'm like, oh, I'm covering today or whatever, they're like, you have such a long name. But that's my name. Like, I can't change it.
You're
You
right.
know what I mean?
That's been like planted into my head from childhood. Like,
Yeah.
Olufemi Ojo is really long because it's Olufemi Ojo. It's 5 syllables. There's a lot going on. And there's a hyphen in between it. And then going, Dr. Olufemi Ojo feels like it. But do you know what? You're dead right. It's because from primary school, actually, I've been told that's so long. And I used to get so triggered when people call me Ojo.
Yeah.
Because Ojo is a surname of its own. There are plenty of people who go by simply Ojo. Like one of my good friends, Olive, is Olive Ojo.
Yeah.
I know loads of Ojos who that's their actual. So when people come around going Ojo to me, it really triggers me. I'm like, either you call me Olufemi Ojo or just call me Favor. I don't have a problem with my first name. Don't be doing that Ojo thing because it's a different person. For me, that's a separate identity.
Yeah.
Like, don't ascribe me something that's not my family line. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it's a lot. I got my car insurance. No, sorry, my car registration sent out to me, and they misspelled my name. By the way, I still haven't fixed it, and I almost lost my mind because like, how are you guys gonna get this wrong?
Yeah.
I really wanted to like fix it, but I haven't gotten around to it, and I think it happened at a time. The reason why it triggered me so badly, my brother-in-law called me because he helped me buy my car. He was like, why is this bothering you so much? Like, it's not that deep. So I have to give him the backstory. It's like in the hospital in Tala did a thing where they misspelled my name. I'm there to work for 9 months. For 6 months, I was back and forth emailing them to fix my name. And every day I came into the hospital and swiped my car. It pissed me off. It was I was refreshed. Every day my anger was being refreshed. Because I clock in and it's misspelled and it used to drive me bananas. Log into the computers. I was like, why did you guys get this wrong? Like, I sent you my documents, my passport. Why is this wrong? This thing took them 6 months on a 9-month contract to fix.
Ridiculous.
It really is.
Yeah.
So then when the car insurance thing came home, I couldn't cope. I was like, this is not okay.
Yeah. No, understandable.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have went on for that long. Even like, by the day, like, oh gosh, like if it was the first day and I seen it was wrong, like seriously, like fix it at that point.
Yeah.
Like it should have never went on for
and
6
it was
months.
email after phone call. I was like, just fix it. I think that some IT thing had happened where once they set you up, they can't backtrack that. And in fairness, now that I'm working in Temple Street, one of my colleagues, in fact, nearly all of them, I was the only person with a functioning email for like a month. IT could not set them up. I don't know what the scientific problem or the computer science problem is. Could not set them up. So it was interesting to watch how like I was the only one on the functioning email. Everybody else was struggling. So now I know that okay, they weren't trying to attack me on a personal level.
Yeah.
There's obviously something bigger. When they set you up, they can't fix it.
Yeah.
But it was very frustrating, and that's why you should make an effort from the jump. Get it right from the jump.
Period.
Simple. Tell us the basics. Where were you born? Where did you grow up?
I'm Irish Nigerian.
Okay.
Born in Ireland, Nigerian. Igbo and Yoruba for people that don't know what tribe I am.
Oh, you're both the jewel thing.
Yeah.
What an interesting household. What an interesting. Do you guys be having like conversations about that?
Yeah, I suppose because like
Who's who?
my mom is Yoruba, my dad is Igbo.
Do you speak any of the two?
Now, I will say when we were growing up, we did go to Igbo classes.
Wow.
I will be honest and say, I don't really remember much.
Okay. What age group was that?
I think we did it a few years. We did it like maybe 8, 10, or 11.
I didn't even know such
I
things
don't
exist.
even remember when. I think when I was like in my late like primary school years, you also learn like I can say like a few sentences and words or whatever. Likewise with Yoruba.
Tell us something in Igbo.
Kedu.
That's a one word.
Tell us a sentence.
Tell us a sentence. For all those classes, your daddy spent money on. Your daddy's gonna be like, for the money I spent on you, was it free? I got it free.
No, they obviously, my mom obviously.
It's amazing that actually existed. How many years ago? How old are you?
I am 22.
So 20 years ago, there was Igbo classes in Ireland.
Oh, not 20, not when I was that young.
Oh, sorry.
Not when I was that young.
As I've said many times, me, I don't have to do maths. So, sorry.
I'd say, when I look back at it, I'd say I was
12 years ago.
Yeah, maybe 12 years ago. I'm not
12 years,
sure.
that's really impressive. 12 years ago in Ireland, there was Igbo classes.
Yeah, now.
That's impressive.
I will say, I don't know if that was like everywhere. It was in like my local area. They had culture connect. Yeah, and they work with like people from different diverse backgrounds.
Is that still in existence?
That's still in existence, but I'm not too sure if they still do the language classes. Yeah. But back then they did do that. And
personally, I would love for my kids to go to Yoruba class.
Yeah.
I can't read or write Yoruba. I can maybe make out words, but I certainly can't read it. I can't even write it, never like. Yeah. And I think that if I had kids, we'd all go to class together.
Yeah.
That's all they get together.
Yeah.
And I really believe in culture and heritage preservation.
Oh yeah.
Truly, it's a topic that is like deep to my heart. As is probably to anybody who's like grown up in a two-arm world where you're black and Irish and you're trying to figure that out. Culture then becomes rather important because you're like, which one do I fit into? Which one? So I would want for my kids to learn how to read and write, but I can't read and write, so I can't give them that.
Yeah.
So it would be great if there were classes and stuff like that in existence. That's why I'm impressed. If that happened 12 years ago, then surely be when I'm having kids in whatever amount of years, there'll be a Yoruba class for them to go to.
Yeah. Maybe someone that's going to be watching this is going to be like, oh, I'm going to.
That's my inspiration. There is a need, and I know from my friends group that we want that for our kids, but we can't give them that.
Yeah.
So there will be a need, and there will be people who will be interested in it. I said I will pay for that. And not only them, me too, I'll go to that every day. Sarah's money. The students, mommy's dead, the child, we're all letting out of the whole it's like, you guys are learning, me too. We're developing our childhood together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, that would be amazing. Because they'll be saying that me and mommy learned Yoruba together.
Yeah. Oh, that would be nice.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah, that would be
so your dad's Igbo. And can you speak Yoruba?
Now, I will say I probably can say like more like words in Yoruba.
Can I tell you what? Yoruba are aggressive. See how she knows more Yoruba. I bet you your mom didn't pay €1 for you to go to Yoruba class. I bet you. What did I tell you?
But you know what it is though, is that like in school, a lot of the friends that I would have had in school, they were all like Yoruba. I think out of like the friendship groups like in school, maybe one was Igbo.
Okay, I'd like to apologize.
I'd
like to apologize to the community because I feel like what I just said there might trigger someone. We are not aggressive. We are lovely, gentle people.
Can I also say
we're amazing. We're gentle. We're flowers, aren't we?
Yeah.
As a dual tribe person, you don't even get excited. Yeah, I know we're not. Yeah. So anyway, that's such a funny thing. Okay, so you're black, you're Irish, you're such culture and who we are so fascinating. So tell us, what is it that you do?
I am a primary school teacher.
Okay.
And I recently just finished college, so I finished in April this year.
Okay.
And I did a 4 years undergraduate.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm qualified now.
Where did you study?
I studied in Dublin City University, St. Patrick's College.
Okay.
And I'm also the education manager at Black and Irish as well.
I actually bought a book yesterday from Black and Irish, the Black and Irish book.
Yeah.
That Liam something.
Leon Diop. And
he wrote that, didn't he?
Yeah, and Rihanna Fitzsimons.
Excellent. I bought that yesterday. I walked into the bookstore looking for a book for one of my patients and told the bookshop owner some details about this kid, and they were like, you should buy this book. I actually ended up buying 2 copies because I was like, I'm going to buy one for my sister.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of young people struggle with the concept of being black and Irish.
Yeah.
And it's really important that we address those needs for that community. And it's a huge community. But also it's a small community, 1.3% of the population.
That's small.
So freaking small.
Yeah.
We're tiny.
We are tiny.
But people be going around acting like we're taking over the country.
Oh my, no. Don't
We
even
are
get me started on that.
1.3% of the population.
Yeah, and
That's
then
crazy.
they say that people are saying that we're taking over the country and there's going to be no more white Irish people, like
There
we're
will be-
1.3%.
Like, there will be plenty of white Irish people.
Yeah.
And before we get to the numbers where we're even 50-50, we're not
Yeah.
there yet. We're not
No.
even 20, 30 years there yet.
No.
Unless there is a massive influx of like 1 million people at one time, we're not there yet. So like there's a whole set of things where people need to calm the flip down. We are not taking over your country. We are 1.3%. Black and Irish, I still don't fully know what they do fully, but I think eventually I probably will be talking to them. And in a way, I'm technically talking to them. Because you're, what did you say you were managing?
Education manager.
Education manager. So in a way, I am talking to them. So we're going to segue from you for a mini second.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about Black and Irish and what is it that they do?
So, Black and Irish is a non-profit organisation,
Okay,
and they
cool.
work towards uplifting Black and Irish voices and stories in Ireland. So if you go onto Black and Irish's Instagram account, whether it's their website, Instagram, Facebook, you'll see lots of different stories from Black and Irish individuals, mixed race people living in Ireland, their stories, their contributions to Irish society, and just sharing other like organisations, community work for people in Ireland, Black, mixed race, people of colour that are doing work. They share it on their platforms, and yeah, it's just about uplifting our people and just showing that we're not a monolith in this country and we're doing things, we're out there, and yeah, support us.
I absolutely support you guys. I've been following, particularly during the times of George Nakencho.
Yeah, that's when they're...
That's when I really started to follow Black and Irish
Yeah.
because I realised then the importance of actually having a unified voice.
100%.
Because at that stage, everybody was talking clearly. But having a voice that like is the voice, I was okay, that's actually important.
Yeah.
So you uplifting the voices, let's talk a little bit about that. What exactly do you mean? And what does Black and Irish mean by uplifting the voices?
If you think about like your experiences of growing up living in Ireland, and maybe you're thinking about like when you were in school or different I don't know, stages of your life, like would you say maybe you were one of the few Black people in those positions, or like in different experiences, or maybe if you weren't like the only one, was there majority more like white people, just for example?
Okay.
Like, was there a majority?
Okay, so what stands out to me first? Primary school.
Yeah.
Primary school, Lucan, we had a beautiful community. And I can see how sometimes, to go back to the 1.3%, how sometimes white Irish people who are not necessarily diverse in their headspace can feel threatened, because we often move in large groups when we do move.
Yeah.
And we often settle in large groups because community, right? People want to stay with people that they know and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So primary school, I definitely had a very strongly well-rooted African headspace because there was a lot of us in Lucan.
Yeah.
And we grew up together, played together, like all that kind of stuff. Primary school was fun in that regard. Secondary school, we moved to Tala.
Yeah.
Different headspace. Certainly, for a very long time on our street, the only Black family. Now there's somebody else across us who's Black. So we definitely, I think secondary school was when I integrated more into not just the tick box of being Black.
Yeah.
I think in secondary school then, I probably leaned into being Irish because, well, I simply had to. There's not, like me, there's maybe 3-4 in my year group who were Black. So
Yeah.
the numbers I didn't have what I had when I was in primary school. It was like 50, 60 in the school. And you
Yeah.
go to yard and there's a sea of Black. Secondary school, definitely not. There's like individuals of Black. But what shocked me though was getting into the medical space.
Yeah.
Whew. There was a time when I walked into Tala Hospital's canteen. It was my first day and I was so upset. Not a single Black face. I was floored. And I was acutely aware of being the only colored person in that canteen that particular day. Now, months passing, you do see one or two, but more than secondary school, actually, more than secondary school, as a Black doctor, You feel it. You
Yeah.
really feel it. And funny how tonight I'm going to a mixer. They're being organized by Gillian, who's the brains behind ABPMIPI. So saying that wrong. But she's doing a thing where she's trying to address the whole being black, being a doctor, and giving each other community, because we don't freaking have that.
Like when I look back in my life, and I had like a great time at primary and secondary. Like I had a great time, so I'm not dismissing that.
Yeah.
But even at that, there were some points where like you might have received like microaggressions or like racist comments from your peers in your class and stuff like that. So it's back to Black and Irish. Black and Irish is providing a platform where people can share like their lived experiences and people's like contributions to like working towards like fair and just like society, and just showing like Black and Irish people, we are out there. And even like as you were mentioning, I think you said in primary school that you had like a lot of black people like in your school, and that was kind of similar with me as well, that I did have like a lot of like black friends and black people or mixed with people of colour that was in my school basically, as well as secondary school. I think my secondary school is one of the largest like secondary school in Leinster.
Wow.
So like it was so diverse, which was absolutely amazing. But then when I came to college and being like the only black person it shocked my system. I'm like, and even though like I am so used to like I'm similar to yourself, that I'm the only like black family in my estate anyways, and maybe like clubs and stuff that I went to, I might have been the only black person, but like that's a small knit group of people. But when it comes to over 400 people in your course, and then being on a campus where I would say in my first year only seeing like maybe 3 or 4 people my entire time, either mixed race or black, on that entire campus, like
it's a lot.
It's a lot, and like it just even makes you start to think like, oh, like I'm actually supposed to be here because I'm not seeing anyone else like myself here. You know,
so much good stuff in there. I think I want to go back again. Uplifting the Voices. You've obviously explained it, but I want to get a one-liner for everybody to understand where we're going, because I've shared my experiences, you've shared yours. When we say uplifting the voices, we're saying yes, we have had experiences where we were well established. We had a community. We didn't have question marks on who am I and why am I here, because we had enough people in our space to be like, oh, there's multiple black people here.
Yeah.
But depending on what happens when you grow up and you go into different spaces as you become an adults, or even young people who are doing amazing things in particular spaces like jiu-jitsu. I don't even know if there's a black kid in jiu-jitsu. Actually, rephrase. One am I saying? My shorts editor, he's currently learning jiu-jitsu. He is 20. He's so funny. His name is Dennis. He's like hilarious. He's keeping me connected to the young people.
Yeah.
He's learning jiu-jitsu. Like, he has a competition at the moment. He has a competition today. And if he, like, let's just say he breaks barriers, I don't know, he only literally started this year. Yeah. But let's say, like, he broke through that wall and became Ireland's #1 jiu-jitsu player, he'd probably be the only black person in that space. Probably. I don't know. I have to ask him. So what we're trying to say is, yes, we have community, but as you sub-specialize in your area of interest and hobbies and, you know, where you go to college, you quickly become the only black person because of that number, 1.3%.
Yeah.
I think what's threatening to the public is they see us in huge numbers, but reality is in our personal lived experiences, and I love that you use that word, our lived experiences, we can very much be the only one.
Yeah.
And that's why Black and Irish and that book that they wrote that I happened to randomly come across yesterday is important. And that's why I bought 2 copies and I gave it to my sister, because I was like, you need to know that there are black people in media, there are black people in sports, there are black people in influencing and Instagram, and Dammy Hope was in that book. Yeah. There are black people in all of these different, and that's what that book does.
Yeah.
And I actually gave it to one of my patients. I don't want to share details because, you know, the world is so small.
Yeah.
But he was a black boy, he's 10, and he just broke my heart this week. He's broken my heart this week. But actually, out of that heartbreak that I felt on his behalf has come quite a lot of rising of the ashes. I think an eagle spirit he's changed over the last 5 days that I've seen him. Yeah. I'm so excited to see him on Monday. And I bought him like 4 different books, and I included the Black and Irish one. And I gave it to him and I said, you're black, that's the way. I was like, now you're Irish and you need to discover what that looks like. So God bless, if I had the book with me, I remember his name. Diop, what's his name?
Dion Leon.
Leon, sorry. Leon, what's his last name?
Leon Diop.
Leon Diop. God bless him.
Diop and Fiona Fitzgerald.
And Fiona. God bless the team, because you guys are doing amazing things. So we'll continue on, and I'll ask you, what exactly does your role look like as the educational manager for Black and Irish? What are you doing?
So my role at Black and Irish is creating workshops, talk, content, and so we provide content for primary schools, secondary schools, colleges or businesses. If anyone's looking for talks based on like race, racism, anti-bias, diversity, equality, inclusivity, email me, education at Black and Irish.
I don't need to email you, I'm telling you now. We will be talking after this interview, because I think it's okay to share a little bit, Divan. Okay, so Divan is the brains behind TOSO, which is Teach One, Save One, which I already interviewed, so we already know about him on this channel.
Yeah.
But then like going back home as well, just seeing like the humanitarian, just like a way of giving back. So then I was like, okay, I know how these two things like move me. I was just wanting to find a blend. How do I put the two together? And that's when like I just had those like two possibilities. Or just
So
two
humanitarianism and education.
Education.
However, not Devon's, but TOSO's mission has changed now. TOSO has gone from like a grind. When I was here 10 months ago, 11 months maybe, we talked about TOSO, and TOSO was a free grinds sort of thing, where he was trying to bridge the gap for people from socioeconomic background to essentially give them access to education, higher quality teaching.
Yeah.
And the vision, I won't say it's changed, but it's expanded now, and we're really trying to do some amazing work. And when I say we, I've joined the board in some capacity of some kind.
Yeah.
We're figuring out the details. But what TOSO is trying to do now is bridge the gap for equity of access to education, specifically to children from African descent, but also sub-specifically who have socioeconomic disadvantages. So not just like rich Black kids, but Black kids who are struggling. Yeah. And we're trying to like look at them from like, this is a child. I'll just draw a picture. Will you help me capture this picture? So this is my child in here, and we're kind of saying, for a child to be able to access education, there are multiple factors that is going to influence that. And the vision of TOSO is kind of going, it's actually not always, I need maths grinds. Sometimes it's, I don't have money, so therefore, well, I can't pay for grinds, whatever. Sometimes is my home is all over the place in disarray. You know, I can't, that's actually huge. My parents are broken up, and that's affecting me, so I can't access education. It could be my parents fight a lot. It could be my siblings and I just have a shitty relationship. Can't focus, whatever. I can't access education. It could be their streets and their environment, shall I say, where they live. You know, that's what's messing them up. It could be their friend group. It could be their actual health, their medical health and well-being. From a very medical point of view, they have a medical condition that's affecting them. It could be their mental health, which really should be underneath health, but because we're not there yet as a society where mental health is not actually looked at as health, that's why we always have to sub-specialize mental health and actually go, oh, it's a separate thing, but really and truly, it's in your head. Like, your brain is inside your body. It should equal. But we're not there yet as a people. But anyway, so mental health can be a thing that's affecting a child's well-being. And so I can't think of any two other ones, and so it goes, you know, access to food. You know, well, if you're hungry, you're not taking nothing in. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if you want to throw one in there from your experience as a teacher of what could affect a child's ability to engage in class.
You mentioned all good ones there. I think you're putting me on the spot.
I am. Let me think. There has to be one to finish my circle.
Background, like to do it like.
I love that. Do you know what? That is. Thank you, because you literally just spoke to what we're trying to do with Teach One Save One. Teach One Save One is really kind of going. There are biases from background that limit a child's ability to access because of perspectives, and those perspectives are systems of, I don't want to use the word oppression, but their parents cannot simply fathom the concept of going into fourth year for transition year, for example. Just the headspace, they just can't understand, not because of them being bad parents. There's the value of this is beyond their ability to reason. They just don't see it. Or for example, an apprenticeship, they just cannot cope. Honestly, a lot of parents can't allow their kids to access transition year and can't allow their kids to access apprenticeships, because in their mind those things equal you're not smart, you're not good enough, you're never going to get a job. And we need to educate and break that headspace and that bias down, which is what my channel is about. Actually, the channel is where we channel engine to learn new things and strip away negative misconceptions. We need to strip that misconception into pieces and say, guys, that's just simply not true.
I agree.
So TOSO is trying to do that. So to answer your question as to if anybody wants to email you, we will be emailing you, because we are trying to build our team ourselves. And if we can borrow your expertise, we absolutely would love that, because this is what we're trying to address. All the problems that makes a child not be able to access education. And it's bigger than just grinds. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, 100%.
And also going to background, you know, Black and Irish is fitting into that. They're doing something there as well, because, you know, biases also come from a lack of representation, right? Simply not seeing a certain thing will affect how you're able to engage with a person, or engage with teachers, and all of that kind of good stuff.
That actually even reminds me of a quote that I hear so often. You can't be what you can't see. If you're not seeing like your background, whatever, represented wherever you are, then it's going to make you think like oh, I can't see myself doing that, or I can't see myself being up there, you know.
And shout out to Isaac, the creator, who is my editor, who's just Isaac is amazing. He's like obsessed with storytelling, but through the lens. That's his thing. So he edits my videos, and we talk a lot about like how to like deliver the message effectively. And this was his idea. He said, the next interview, get them to bring a box, and we can tell a story. So I got you to, what did I say to you? I said, bring a box that represents, what did I even say?
I think you said that represents myself and teaching.
Okay,
cool. So I have some teaching.
So, and I love that it says bits and bobs, because literally bits and bobs.
Bits and bobs,
and the next time I bring someone onto the channel, I'll say, hey, bring a bits and bobs, bits and bobs. Bits and bobs box.
Okay,
do you want to open it?
Yes. So this is what I have inside the box.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Do you want to
I'll let you. I'll let you play around with it. It's your box.
Okay.
Tell us what each item represents.
So this is a candle that I got from a little girl. And during my second year of college, I got the opportunity to do a bit of subbing in my old primary school, and I got to cover for this class for like a month and a few weeks, and it was towards like summertime, and she got me a gift. So this is my first like ever teacher gift.
Wow.
And it just says, thank you. I've never lit it, even though it's been 2 years. But I think it's just very special, because I was like, I wasn't qualified at that time, but just in that little space of time that I was teaching,
you're able to make an impact.
I was able to make an impact. So special to me.
It's as it should be. And as now that you're qualified, I reckon it'll be a lifelong situation where you get things like this, reminders of your impact. Sure, and that's exciting.
Very exciting. Then this note here, I actually wrote in 2011.
Okay. You wrote that?
I wrote it and I signed it at the back.
To the peoples. I wish everybody can be nice and helpful in 2012, and my friends and teacher and family. So that's the backstory. Signed, peace. I got this. Chukura. No, the second one you said was better. Remember you saying that? Chukura. That's much easier. Peace, Chukura. Okay, cool. Which is a Nigerian way of saying it, right? Okay, so I don't mean easier as in for me. Okay, cool. Tell us a little bit about that though. Why what's the backstory?
So the reason why this note stuck out to me, so I had actually gotten a box when we were younger, myself and my sister. And it was called the Wish Box. And it came with like lots of cut out hearts, paper like this, and a pencil and an eraser.
You won't let it go missing.
And I had written down lots of wish boxes, and basically it was this fairy inside the box. That's what And it was to do with you writing down wishes. If you put the wish back into the box, your wish will come true. And I picked out this one specifically because of the fact that I had mentioned my teacher. I don't remember what teacher it was at that time. If I have some time to think about it, I'm sure I remember it. But I don't think it was, I wrote that down that she'd be nice and helpful because of the fact that maybe she wasn't helpful or kind. It wasn't that point. But I think it reminded me of what I want to be as a teacher, that I want to be kind and I want my students to think that I'm helpful in whatever it is that they're going through or learning. So yeah, I thought that that was...
Okay, here comes your biased question. How long are you teaching now officially?
So officially, this is my first year, but I have had lots of experiences on school placement. In total, over my 4 years of college, I would have been on 7 different placements. I would have also gotten lots of opportunities to sub in different schools in my local area. And my first actual experience of teaching was when I was in transition year. And I
transition. Oh yes, the transition year, the important year. Okay.
And I got the opportunity to be part of this program. It was called Peer Mentoring Program, and we got to go to primary schools and teach like 1 or 2 lessons. And I think at that point, that like really showed me that I do actually like teaching, and I would actually like to have a profession.
If you're a parent watching this right now, you should know transition year is very important. Okay. Agreed.
Yeah, so I really enjoyed that experience in TUI, and it gave me the opportunity to learn about like what profession I'd want to go into, and gave me a spark for teaching.
So you were saying earlier that your very first class, you having your own very first class.
Yes.
Is this 2024 academic year?
Yeah, this 2024 academic year is my first year having my own class.
And how long have you done that for? A week? 2? At this stage?
A week, yeah.
Okay, so here comes your biased question.
Yes.
In a week, have you been kind?
In a week, I would say yes, I have been kind.
So you're keeping to your standards?
Yeah, and you know what? I'm optimistic that I will keep
to the standards.
Yeah. To the standards.
I mean, we all have to hold ourselves to some personal level of accountability.
Yeah, we do.
As a doctor, sometimes I've talked about communication on my channel. We can be very, very stressed as doctors, and I have witnessed or have been the subject of very rude doctors, like doctors who are treating other doctors really, really badly.
Yeah.
And I really don't want to be that person. But like a few weeks ago, I caught myself being that person, like being nasty to somebody else. Like, I mean, doctor to doctor interactions, and I was like, oh no, this is not okay. So I actually called this person back the next day and I said, I'd like to apologize about how I spoke to you yesterday. The man was so confused. I was like, what are you talking about? He didn't even remember. But that's because of the stress that he's under, because he works in ED, and like I'd say everybody's being rude to him, but he can't remember which one I was even referring to.
Yeah.
And I remember telling my other doctor friends this, and they're like, oh, Favor, you're a great person. You know, you called them back to apologize. I was like, no, actually, I'm not a great person. The fact that I did it already is a problem.
Yeah.
It's that we need to hold ourselves to a certain standard and say, I'm going to be kind always. And when we're not meeting that personal standard, it's okay to not meet it sometimes because of whatever. We need to reflect on that and correct ourselves. Otherwise, we'll become bad people. And I don't think people become bad people like overnight. It's a slow trickle. You're rude today, you're rude tomorrow. You just get used to being rude and being nasty, and all of a sudden you're a nasty person.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a nasty doctor. So yeah, I think that's really amazing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I hope that you keep up to your personal standard of being kind. It's godly.
And then this book that I have here, it's called, so it's actually it's a book of prayers.
See how we're moving there? See, the God is moving with us. I said it's a godly thing. And then, she brought out the godly book.
I actually have the full book.
Okay. This is a sub book?
Yeah, it's a book of prayers, but the actual book, like it's like a book, like it's a full-on book, and it's basically the author writing about like her lived experiences and giving advice and
we are loving that word today, lived experiences.
Yeah.
Shared experiences in general.
Yeah, but basically the book is about becoming the woman God designed you to be. I kept this book in my college bag during my final year of college, and I liked to like refer to
Will you just
like,
point it so that people who want to buy it or whatever can get that book too?
Yeah, and I liked to refer to it like anytime like I had some moments to myself, I just like pick a prayer, read it, and I don't know, I feel like it got me through like my final year of college. Like I don't remember me being like worried or stressed, like thank God, like during my final year, and I think it's just because literally the power of a praying woman.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question now.
Yeah.
You're 1 week into teaching. your own tasks, because you obviously have your own experiences to date.
Yeah.
How do you see yourself, or have you thought about the concept of leaning into more than just like leaning into God, and how you're going to do that for your students? And obviously we're fully diverse here, and we're not trying to make people Christian. Like, that's not the case at all. But like recognizing, let me use the word higher powers. How can you foster a system where your students can experience something that can calm them, or at least something that can, I suppose, center them, something outside of themselves? Do you plan on doing that? Is that something that is already built into the education system? Can you talk a little bit about that?
So in the education system, if you're working in a school that is under a Catholic diocese, then you have to teach religion.
Okay.
But there are schools like Educate Together schools. There's also Muslim schools. I think there's only 2 in Dublin. Where like they might teach like a certain faith, or I know in Educate Together schools, they don't specifically focus on one religion. They might teach all different types of religions and faiths.
So there is, I'm not trying to act slow, because obviously I know I grew up in Ireland. There is Catholicism built into the education system in Ireland, because of the fact that the church owned the schools at the beginning of times.
Yeah.
And all the kids, and myself included, went through the Holy Communion in 3rd year? Second class. And then what's the confirmation in 6th? I did it, it's standard. And then you go on to secondary school. And I think that I've had people swap up to me on Instagram in past times when I've talked about this, and kind of go, well, we don't really think that our child should be subjected to that. We don't think that that should be the common practice anymore going forward in Ireland. We're not a Catholic country as per how we were before, and all this kind of stuff. And I respect it, and I think that parents should have the right to pull their child from religion and educational stuff if they want to. But I also feel like there's a benefit to introducing a child to more than just like the concept of a universe, the concept of God as a part of education. What are your thoughts?
So my thoughts, the school that I work in, the school, do you want me to stop?
No, keep going.
The school that I work in is a Catholic school, as is the majority of the schools in my area. And in Ireland, I think the percentage of Catholic schools in Ireland is like 84% or 86%, which is a lot. So if you don't study religion like as part of your degree or master's, it means you're only subjected to like 12 to 18% of schools in Ireland that you can actually teach in, because you...
Sorry, my mind and maths. So 18% of
I think it's 18%.
the schools
it's between like...
are not religion-based. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, now I might be wrong.
The numbers don't matter, but basically 20-80, right? 80% of the country have a religion type of based approach to education.
Yeah.
And roughly, give or take, doesn't really matter, 20% don't.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Sorry, continue.
Yeah. So I think you obviously have to be very mindful that not everyone in your class might partake in Catholic studies or be Christian, and some students mightn't even have any like religion, like faith that they follow or anything like that. So you have to be very mindful when you are teaching, and that is something that I take into account when planning work, whether I'm on placement subbing or when I'm teaching this year, that I will make sure that I am providing like work like outside of religion for students that are not partaking in religious study in that class.
And how,
I do have to.
How complicated is it for a parent to go, I don't want my child involved? Are we talking meetings after meetings? Like, how simple is it? Can a parent go in and say, I don't want my child in this? And how well do teachers accommodate that on a very day-to-day practical levels? Do they just leave them in the back of the room and go, your parents don't want you doing religion, so you just are ignored then for that session?
Well, we actually had this discussion in our final year of college, and because we had to submit like an essay or something like that, we had like other different like options that you could choose, but one of the questions was to do with how would you teach in a class if some students are not partaking in Catholic studies. And I didn't answer that question, I chose something else, but I remember the lecturer saying that like not all the time, but very often you would hear from different people's experiences that in their class they were put at the back of the classroom. They were just given extra maths work or extra English work to work on while the other kids were studying.
Say Muslim kids, for example, during the whole in second year during confirmation, and in sixth class during, I mixed it up, communion confirmation anyway. Those kids are not necessarily getting engaged. How are they treated, for example?
Yeah, well, in my experiences, because I've never taught in second class, which do communion, but I actually did get the opportunity now in 2 years, to teach sixth class, and they were preparing for their confirmation. And in those 2 classes, there were some people that didn't partake in religious studies. So what I would do is I would generally start off the introduction of my lesson based on whatever theme or value it is that we're focusing on. I wouldn't put a lens of like Christianity lens or Catholic lens on it, just so everybody can get an opportunity to engage with whatever the content is about. And then in the middle section of my lesson, I might have it that we then are focusing, like for the students that do partake in religion, that we're focusing like on a parable or whatever content book I'm following. At the moment, it's Grow in Love. So if any current teacher is watching, they'll know what Grow in Love is, but it's basically the religious curriculum book, and you follow that, and they have lots of lessons. And then for students that don't partake in religion, what I would do is I create work based on whatever theme or value it is that we're focusing on. If that child is from a different faith background, they can respond to the activities or work that I've given them. Based on their lens. So it's
beautiful.
not that they're looking at it a lens from like God for Christianity.
But I think we do need to recognize the fact that some kids are being given extra maths.
Oh, and they are, or they're being put at the back of the classroom reading a book, or they're put into another class to do whatever work that teacher is doing.
And that's kind of not okay.
No,
it's really not. Like teachers need to make a little bit of an effort to make things somewhat. And I think the same goes for, I actually brought on someone to my channel, I must include the link or whatever, who came to me and we talked about Halloween, and very much a Christian lens. Now, some Christians don't want their kids engaged in Halloween. She's not a teacher, I forget what she actually does officially, but okay, she's a Sunday school teacher, so it was very much a Christian lens, and I remember that, she wrote a book on Halloween and all this stuff, and basically very anti-Halloween, and how can Christian parents sort of speak up in schools and say, I actually don't want my child engaged in this. We kind of went through that a little bit, and yes, some parents would choose to just not bring their kids in for those periods of time. And I think that having that open headspace of not every child is engaging, no matter how deeply rooted this thing is into our school system, teachers need to make a point of, okay, this child is not engaging, but I'm not going to now exclude them from class because their parents don't want them to engage. If a Christian parent doesn't want their child to be involved in Halloween, I feel like the teacher should make somewhat of I should think about it. How can I involve without involving? It's a complex thing, but I think it's the responsibility of teachers.
I
think it falls on their shoulders in a way. And the reason why I think that is, well, it's your job, you're trying to teach, so this is what you signed up for. Why did you choose teaching?
Why did I choose teaching? Well, I'd say that growing up I've had like many different role models or influences in my life. Like my mom would have worked over 18 years working with people with learning disabilities, special needs. So I've always seen my mom like in a profession where she's helping people learn and achieve like their own goals, whether it's small or big. So just the type of person my mom is, and seeing her in her
love
work.
that for moms. Moms are amazing.
Moms are amazing. So I've always seen my mom in a caring, nurturing type of role, and I think that's what a good teacher is.
That is fascinating to me, because your mom, correct me if I'm misinterpreting you, she worked with people with learning disabilities, but she wasn't a teacher. What I find amazing is your mom is not a teacher. She worked with a certain group of people and she did whatever she did with those people. But from your interpretation as a child was, this is equal nurturing. What I find fascinating is, I wouldn't have come to the conclusion that education is nurturing. Motherhood is nurturing, absolutely. What else do I think is nurturing? What job roles would be nurturing? I don't know, but I wouldn't necessarily have thought to myself, a teacher is nurturing. I guess they are, they're nurturing the mind. Can you expand?
When you're teaching, you need to take like a holistic approach.
Absolutely.
So it's not just that you're focusing on the books, you're focusing on like only just like reading, writing, maths, whatever. Of course you need to focus on those things because that's going to help the child grow. But I think you also need to take an interest in the child.
When you're educating someone, it's not just like one way. It's like you're adapting to their way of learning, and then you want to bring out the best in them.
The teachers that I've had growing up, they took an interest in me. They took an interest in my classmates. In whatever type of way they did that, I felt like it stuck by me.
Okay.
And yeah, I think a lot of teachers that I had, they had a very holistic approach to teaching, and I felt like that's really stuck to me.
Okay.
That it's not just that, okay, yeah, I was doing good in reading and writing, but like they cared to know that I loved art.
Wow.
Like I liked dancing, I liked creating rap. I don't do that anymore, but they wanted to see like
those aspects.
Yeah, they wanted to see those aspects as part of our character. And I think that's also a part of teaching.
That's
not just focusing
amazing.
on just...
Amazing. And I think my question is actually in line with my personal experience, whereas I don't feel like I experienced the nurturing of teaching. I was very academically orientated. I did very well from primary school up, so that was never a problem. However, I was very bold. I've talked about it in the channel, so I won't go into too much detail. So my experience of teaching was one of, what's wrong with you? The questions were, what's wrong with you? Why won't you just sit still? Why won't you just focus? My teachers couldn't handle me half the time. And then the fact that I was doing okay despite being so disruptive was very much a conundrum for teachers. They didn't really know what to do with that now. Because you have a kid who's not, if I wasn't engaging, which I wasn't, and also not doing okay, it's very simple. She's not doing well because she's not engaging. But if you're doing well and not engaging, it's like, what the hell? So my question for you then is capacity as a whole. How can a teacher, the country has changed. I don't know what it was like when I was 20 years ago when I was in primary school. I don't know what the ratio of teacher to student was, but I assume that the population has grown. I assume that the teacher ratio child is vastly increased. I mean, that's what I hear on the radio. That's the dialogue of the country. We're short-staffed. I mean, we're short-staffed everywhere. In terms of capacity, how can a teacher in 2024 notice a child if they're freaking trying to keep up with like 40 students? I don't know what the numbers are.
Well, obviously it depends on your situation, your school, numbers, because that obviously plays a factor. Like I'd say like in my class that I have now, I have 21, which is quite it's quite relatively small compared to like other schools.
What are the
have 30?
So 30 would be considered struggling. Like we would consider bad.
Really,
if you had 9 more students, you think you'd be struggling?
I wouldn't say I would struggle just because I have done it before. Okay. Because I've been in a class where there has been 33.
Okay.
I'm like, okay, yeah, I've done that before, and it was a shorter period of time. So I'm like, okay, if I had a shorter period of time and got on quite fine with it, like you can only progress from there. Do you know what I mean? But in my situation, and I only have 21, it is very much easy to look at the different characteristics, like in whatever child it is, their personality, get to know a bit more about the things that they like, their family, what they like to do over the weekend, which is obviously nice. But if you do have a big class, that is very hard. So I'm not going to take that away from.
I won't take that away because as somebody who works in healthcare, numbers matter, bro. If you're split between 10 patients, that's a lot. But like, you should see me on days when I have 3 patients, bro. I'm spending 45 an hour with these parents because I got the time. You know, I can go into the nitty-gritty and we can figure out what's going on with your child. But when I have 15 people on my list, you go get 5 minutes of my time. I'm prescribing what I need to prescribe and I'm out of there.
Yeah.
So capacity matters and we can't ignore that.
Capacity does matter, especially when you don't have any support.
Yeah. In case it wasn't obvious to the viewers, you're a primary school teacher.
Yes.
How different is that to secondary school teaching? And can you change? I don't know how the education system works. Can you decide next year that I'm going to secondary school, or are you locked in now?
I am more or less basically locked in now.
Okay.
If I wanted to do, yeah, I'm not going back now.
Damn. So I hope you like it.
I'm not too sure now how it works if you decided you wanted to go from primary to secondary school. But I did have some friends that did secondary school teaching in college, and what they had to do was they had to focus on 2 subjects. Okay. So let's say, for example, they were doing English and they chose religion, or like sometimes people do like English and music. So you have two different subject areas that you specialize in. Whereas primary school teaching, you're doing all the 12 subjects. So like I don't have
You're
like
strong.
I did try.
Strong woman. No wonder you need to be praying. The girl said 12 subjects. The Lord is in control.
Yeah, so but yeah, so in college I specialize in visual art.
Okay.
But I would have needed, I'd say if I was doing secondary school teaching, I would have needed to do art and maybe another like key focus area for secondary school teaching. But I'm not too sure how that works. Like how you integrate the two, like go from primary to secondary school. But
why would
there's
one
probably
want
a
to?
way.
Why would one want to?
Why would one want to?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose if you didn't like, if you wanted to like level up in the grade that you teach,
Right.
or you're just, I don't know, you're just fascinated about more things to do outside of like primary school teaching.
As a primary school teacher, if you decided to do a master's or PhD, what doors does that open, and why would any teacher be bought in? You could just stay like this forever, right?
Yeah. So essentially, if I decided that I wanted to do a master's in education, I could potentially in a few years become a principal of a school. So a master's does open you up for that door. And there are a few other roles. Oh, you can become like an assistant principal of a school if you have a master's.
Assistant principal of the school. Oh, you're assistant to the.
Yeah, so like you're deputy principal. And I think you can also have like key stakeholder roles in the school. So it's like if the principal isn't in, the vice principal isn't in, and then the next person that follows.
Okay, we're going to pause right now.
Yeah.
Tell me about the monies. Why bought it? Is there a huge jump in the weight?
That's a good question. Now, my friends and I
have discussed this in another 5 days, and we decided we're going to be rich.
We looked at the pay scales.
Right.
And now we looked at this 2 different years now, okay? So we did do our research.
I love how the money and the Nigerian part is coming out. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
And we didn't find any, like, let's say someone that just finished their master's this year and someone that just finished a degree this year. You're going to pay the same money. That's what we found. So, unless there's some loophole there and we didn't find something specific, but you're getting the same pay because.
But surely the principal is getting paid more.
Oh, the principal is definitely getting way more. Like,
so that's why
you're getting like double, like so
that's why you do your masters, right?
Yeah, that's why you do your masters.
But not everybody's going to be a principal because there's not enough schools to go around.
Yeah, although maybe in a few years I could have my own school, you know. But I'm doing my masters. But yeah, I suppose if you are in a principalship role, you are gonna obviously like there's definitely a stark difference in your pay. But if you do a master's and you're just doing primary school teaching, like we're getting paid the same. So you could ask me a question about why secondary and primary. And I was actually in between whether I wanted to do primary school teaching or secondary school teaching, teaching home economics. I put in this thread and this pebble that my neighbour had given me.
Follow your heart.
Follow your heart. And I really like I really like fashion.
I love it. Like, so you're very much into fashion. Tell us more.
Yeah. So I'm really into fashion. I like creating things. I draw. So I put this thread inside the box because it's just a part of me. And if I was doing home economic teaching, I know that I would also be teaching like crafting, sewing, and
Love to hear.
like that.
Love to hear.
So
in an alternative world, would you have been a fashion designer?
Oh yeah, because
is it too late? Probably not.
No, maybe. It'll be my summer side work.
Now that you mention it, actually, obviously you guys are paid over the summer, right?
Yeah.
What
well,
teachers do?
depending on your contract.
Oh, sorry. So some teachers don't get paid over the summer?
No, but having said that, it might be that each pay they get, they're getting their summer pay, if that makes sense.
So you have to budget accordingly.
Yeah, basically. But if you are getting paid over the summer, then you're just paid like
A certain amount.
Yeah, you're paid a set amount.
So you're covered for a 12-month period.
Yeah.
But you might not get money for 3 months.
Yeah, like summer holidays for primary school is July, August, 2 months.
I'm not gonna lie to you, you have to be very good at budgeting.
You do. Yeah, so
you are gonna learn how to manage money very, very well.
well, I've been working for a few years now, so I think I've kind of gotten into that habit. When I got my big girl job,
Love that big girl job.
yeah.
Here you are, both Igbo, both Nigerian. Right, that's a box, or at least that's 2 boxes you fit into simultaneously. You're black, that's a box, because obviously non-Africans may not, in fact non-Nigerians may not know that within Nigeria there is this division, right? So that's 2 boxes you fit into. You also fit into like a box of just simply being black, you fit into a box of being African, you fit into a box of being Nigerian, and each level of that comes with a different level of bias, conclusion that people are making, you know, about you, or whatever. You also fit, so talk to me a little bit more about your Irish box. I was brought here at like age 5, maybe younger.
Yeah.
So I experienced primary school here and all that kind of stuff. Whereas my siblings were born here. So like my brother and my 2 younger sisters literally were born here. So they'll have no concept of what it looks like to have been in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Now neither do I. I don't have any memories of this thing. But it doesn't matter. We do have that difference that I was brought here and they were born here. But you were born here, so you're the first gen.
Yeah.
I think. Someone's gonna have to correct me in terms. Tell me what that looks like and what does it mean to be a first gen Irish person.
So, a lot of my Irishness, I suppose, being intertwined in primary, secondary school, and obviously college, and growing up like in estates and stuff, and the people that you had around you, and from a young age, actually, in primary school, myself and my sister got into Gaelic, which is an Irish sport, and a lot of the time, like
we have to break it down for the people. Gaelic is an Irish sport. What is that sport? It's not football. It's not soccer. It's not. Is it hurling? No. It's not hockey. I don't be keeping up with this stuff. What is Gaelic?
What is Gaelic is a good question, and even though I played for like about 6 years, it's a sport, anyways.
It's definitely a sport.
Yeah.
I be knowing that. She goes into sport anyway. I didn't know that much.
Listen, you can kick it, you can handball it.
Okay. We're gonna move on.
Yeah.
Clearly,
Like I'm not
the person.
Gaelic expert.
But you played Gaelic.
Yeah, I played. So I would say that I was in like a few clubs, like here and there in my childhood, like music groups. So yeah, music group, and it was actually a church group. It was like to do with like my school and outside of my school. So I feel like in that regard I was integrated into a lot of like Irish things. But even outside of that, like my parents really shared like the Nigerian culture with us, traditions and everything. So I was never like shied away from like, oh, you're Nigerian and this is part of our like tradition, heritage, whatever, and our culture. So yeah, that's why I would heavily say like I am like Irish and Nigerian. Whereas I know like some people struggle with the fact of being like, I was born in Ireland, but because I don't know much about my Nigerian like identity,
then I'm only fully Irish. Yeah, and I get that because definitely in their minds they never really leaned into being black. They're black side, so they're really very much heavy into their Irish side. But in terms of your Irish side, question for you: are you fluent in Irish?
Yes. Well, if you're doing primary school teaching, you do have to speak.
Yeah. So how does it talk to you?
How many more?
Call into Inish.
Call to Inish.
Yeah. Where are you right now?
Tommy.
No, did I not ask that question properly? Call into Inish.
Inish.
Anois.
On Shaw. Is that what you meant to say? Call to on Shaw.
Like where are you right now?
Like where are you? Like basically, I think what you're trying to say is where are you? Like now or
yes.
here?
Where are you now?
Now, yeah. Tommy.
No, ask the question to me. Like, how do you ask the question?
Call to on Shaw. Like where? Like Inish.
I was right. You're confusing me. Call into Inish. Where are you right now?
Guys, look. I had this somewhere right.
Okay, call into on Shaw. No, Inish.
Inish, guys, sorry. Inish.
Okay, call it to
I am
Inish.
Irish. Tommy and Maya, actually, yeah.
Okay, in fact. Call is the favorite colour. How do you say that?
So dot
No,
is...
don't answer, teach me. How do you say what is your favorite colour?
Okay, cod is on, dot is for a lot.
Oh wow, it's been a while. Because that makes perfect sense to my brain.
Yeah.
It's the Irish is in there. But like wow, it's been a while. So cod, say it again?
So you can, I think I said to you cod is on, dot is for a lot, or you can say
Cod is for a lot.
is for a lot, yeah, like do you prefer? Or you could say cane dot is for a lot.
Yeah, I prefer that. It's much simpler.
Yeah.
Why is that much simpler?
Well, it has to do, well, yeah, sometimes, it also depends on who you're speaking to, because there's different like Irish dialects. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes you're speaking to some Irish people that are not from like the Leinster or Munster province, and they're saying things in Irish, and I'm like,
yeah. They rearranged the sentence.
Yeah, but now Leinster doesn't have their own dialect, so it's kind of like wherever the other dialects are coming from, do you know what I mean? So it also depends on your school teacher. Like I know in secondary school, one of my Irish teachers was from Donegal. So some of the things she'd be saying, like we didn't know, we have to ask her. But she'd always be like, she'd always help.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember from the Leaving Cert that the Donegal accent, am I correct in saying, is one of the more difficult ones to pick up from a hearing perspective? The Clústishtent, how do you say the word? Clústishtent.
Yeah.
That was, which accent was the one that people would struggle with? I feel like it was the Donegal, the north type Antrim.
Yeah, wherever the north.
The upper part of the country.
Yeah, the upper
the
part
accents
of the
are
country,
very strong.
Oh, very strong.
Like,
not that that's a bad thing, but it's like
that's not bad, but it's harder to pick it up what you're saying.
Especially if you're so used to listening to
the Dublin language.
Yeah.
So cod is favorite class? No.
Are you asking like?
I'm asking you what is your preferred colour, but the simpler one. Cod, say it again.
So cane dot is for a lot.
I don't like that one. There was a one you said that I liked. Cod is
cane dot is for a lot.
Cane dot is for a lot. Okay.
Purple.
Cane for.
Cane for. Mar tá alon corpora autumn. I have a lot of purple.
Ishmachlon Bui. Is he yellow?
Bui.
Is Bui yellow?
Bui, yeah. Top.
Okay. Wow. I'm doing good. Ishmachlon Bui. August. Ooh. Cane for is correct. Mar tá sé what's bright?
Good question.
Tá sé bright agus tá sé engaging agus tá sé exciting agus tugam misha person atá bright agus engaging agus agus is matlum Donald Duck mar tá bui ar nose agus ar feet, and we connect, me and Donald Duck, because of that, because we're both bright and both engaging and exciting. And Donald Duck has the most funniest voice going. He has like such a sappy voice, and honestly when I laugh I have the weirdest sappy, loud, extreme laugh, and I just resonate so heavily with this guy because we are one and the same.
Yeah.
So it's my from me.
And I also have to say there is an Irish proverb, and it's something like es far Guelga Busha than far like Guelga like for something. Something to do with spoken Irish is better than perfect. Irish. Yeah, perfect Irish or no Irish. Yeah, something to do with perfect and spoken Irish is better than no Irish.
And I'm not going to lie to you, as much as I said that I want to give my kids Yoruba as a language to be able to read and write, I most certainly want to give them Irish. They got to have that. And especially if I end up staying here, which I right now today in 2024 intend on building my family here. But I've met someone, and I won't go into the details. My mind is broadening as to the idea that I could be leaving, depending on where he wants to go and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But even if we left this country, I've after spent, 20 odd years here. They're taking Irish with them. We're going together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, in my box will be Yoruba, in my box will be Irish, and they will hopefully get a taste of what that looks like. So my Irish is broken and I can hold the conversation just about if I insert my English. But let's not lie, I do
to understand everything you're saying.
accent, and let's not lie, I do be speaking in Yoruba like that. Like if I'm talking to my mom now, I will start my sentence in Yoruba like "Mommy Bawani," but I will certainly include my English because I don't have enough vocab in Yoruba to sustain that conversation. So I agree, broken is better than nothing at all. Let's talk a little bit about cultural heritage. Why is that important? Why do we need to preserve Irish?
When I speak to like older generation Irish people, like I was talking to people and I know just older people, and yeah, so a lot of the time they tell me about like Irish history and like their language, and now I have to say the people that I've been talking to, some of them actually can't even speak Irish, but that's a different conversation, okay, because that goes back to language and
we won't go into why Irish isn't the prominent language of the country. And I will just touch very briefly and say it upsets me when I hear things from, particularly the international students who are coming in from abroad or Africa or wherever, and they come here and then they say stuff like, right, like Irish is useless. Even the Irish people don't know Irish. It really triggers me.
And you know what? Even
I find it very disrespectful.
From primary school, I remember so well like people saying that like all the time. Even there'd be like the odd time I was subbed in different schools, and I'd be like, oh, like talking about the loud word, like take out your Irish book, and they're like, oh, like they start growing and they're like, oh no, we don't want to do Irish.
Do you know why I find, when I say international students, I don't mean the kids. We'll talk about why kids talk like that. When I say international students, I mean international students, the adults, the 20-some-year-olds who are coming in to do their masters. That type of rhetoric pisses me off because I'm like, well, hey, you're coming here to learn, right? The very least you do is respect the country that you're coming to study in. If this country was useless, you wouldn't be here. So you're clearly here because Ireland is having value. 4, if you don't understand why the Irish people don't speak Irish, do a bit of reading as to why Irish is not the prominent language of Ireland. In fact, it just shows you've no respect, you've also no reading done, you've no understanding of history as to why Irish is not the language of the country. 6, you're coming from oppression to be free from oppression into a country who has experienced oppression. I mean, come on. Like, please. Don't be going around saying, well, I can, excuse me, why are you here, low-key? And I'm starting to sound like the people I don't like sounding like, but you're here because you want to benefit from something because you're running away from the kind of oppression. Ireland has experienced oppression. We don't speak Irish because of the way the language was stolen from Irish people in a way. Now, I'm myself no expert on the topic, but from my basic level of understanding of Irish history, this would have been an Irish country if England hadn't invaded and made us speak English. So don't make it sound like the Irish people don't speak Irish because they don't want to. Now, as for the kids and why they have a bad rhetoric, no offense to you, I do think it's down to teaching.
Now, I will be honest.
It's down to teaching.
I will be honest and say I don't disagree.
Okay, thank you.
Now, having said that, like I know from my experiences, like some teachers, not all teachers if you are watching, like the way Irish is taught in schools is it's not like tell me why. In the time where I learned how to speak Spanish, I feel like I am in somewhat way much better speaking Spanish than I am in speaking Irish. And bear in mind, I only started learning Spanish when I was in first or secondary school, whereas I've been learning Irish since junior infant primary school. You know, so like that shows that there's something to do with
it's the teaching, it's the way of teaching. Now, in fairness to me, I personally don't remember having a bad experience learning Irish in primary school. I actually remember asking some like heavy questions like grammar, and I remember my teacher making the point of teaching me my and I also remember one of the days where I'd ask her a question about like the conditional tense. I remember this distinctly, and she made a point of stopping the class to explain the answer, but then I started dusting, and I remember her getting angry like, you asked me a question and I actually made a point of teaching you this thing, and I'm not going to listen now. And that's the memory I have. So primary school, I was they did a fab job. Irish in primary school, fabulous. No gaps in my knowledge. It was very positive experience. Where the negative came, the whole what is Irish? That was secondary school.
Oh, secondary school.
Secondary school killed it.
Oh,
trampled on it, destroyed any form of passion you have for that language. Went to the toilet in secondary school.
And I think another reason for that is because the secondary school curriculum, I'm not too familiar with the secondary school curriculum. If you ask me about primary, I know. But a lot of the work that we have to do and for exams is more so, for me, I felt like it was more rote learning.
Yes.
Like you had to like know like word for word. I wasn't just being able to like say, okay, they give you this question, now go answer it without any form of like piece of work given to you, especially when it came to like orals. Like if you think about the orals, okay, granted, yeah, they do give you subsections of like questions that they can potentially ask you. But when it gets to that point that if you say something during that oral and you decide to switch it on,
you're on your own.
You're on your own. And I think that's the part that people struggle with most, especially myself as well included, that because in fact like for a long time in secondary school you were rote learning, you had to know like at some point I was generally just memorizing whatever I learned.
At some point. That was how they taught it.
Yeah.
You learn it. Yeah. You learn it by heart.
Yeah, like I remember one of my years in secondary school, like the teacher just wrote down, like she wrote down copies of different potential questions they can give you for some section of the leaving cert, and that's just what I learned.
Yeah,
you might have just learned like a little exercise paragraph, just depending on whatever question.
You had it ready to go.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with understanding or appreciation of the language, being able to hold the conversation. And like you said, if the examiner asked you one follow-up question,
and you didn't know one word, what that meant. Oh, hey.
Bye those marks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was fascinating. I enjoyed that. I love Irish. I love Irish.
No, and I do.
It's so sad.
Yeah, I do enjoy learning it, and I do enjoy teaching it. But there needs to be a fun aspect and
going back to the roots of the beauty of what it is changa intaking.
So this book that I bought is called Taking Up Space, and the Black Girls Manifesto for Change. And it's written by Chelsea. I'm not going to pronounce the second name because I don't want to pronounce it wrong. And the second author is Aura. I'm also not going to pronounce the second name.
I know how to say this one. Ogumi. I'm pretty sure. Kwaki, no, I don't know. That's like Kenyan. Respect y'all. Tell us why that book.
So I love this book. I read it during my third year. Yeah, I posted about it. This book has honestly changed my experience in college. The reason why I really like this book is because I resonated so much with the book. The two authors, they studied in Cambridge University in the UK, and they talk a lot about their journey in studying in Cambridge and how it was predominantly white institute and how they were navigating their journeys being and not only Nigerian, that was just personal thing, but being black in Cambridge. And if just like if in some way when I was reading that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is my body. I don't even know what about me.
This book about me is wild. Did they follow me? Did somebody stop me?
I didn't know the comment behind me. But yeah, basically I felt I really related because they were in predominantly white institutes, as was I myself in St. Pat's, DCU, and just the feeling of trying to fit in, but like when people look at you first, like no, you actually don't fit in, but like that's okay, you know. But there's obviously struggles.
Does that need to be charged? Oh yeah, that's. I mean, I reposted your Take Up Space thing. I don't even know much. Obviously, I haven't read the book, but the statements is a lot.
Yeah. Oh, the statement.
The statement is a lot. Alone is a lot. Take Up Space is a lot. It says a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And what I love about this book as well is in the first chapter there is an opening letter that one of the authors, I think it was Aura, wrote for herself, and it was like for her fresher self to look back onto. Yeah, it's a letter to my fresher self. I posted a bit about this on my own Instagram page, but that first letter that she wrote, like...
Do you mind if I read?
Yeah, go on.
When you walk into your first supervision, you'll probably be the only black girl in the room. Get used to it, because it won't get much better. But don't let that scare you. And more importantly, don't let anyone make you feel small or misplaced. Don't be silent in attempts to assuage your white peers and supervisors. You've earned your place there, so make your presence known. Don't ever feel the need to make yourself palatable or bite-sized. Instead, fill the room with examples of, mispronouncing this, Nkrumah and Mobutu, that your supervisor thinks are adventurous, and enjoy unpacking the racism in the works of cants that your degree so glorifies. Their discomfort is not your problem. Love that. You will have supervisors. Is she a teacher? A student teacher?
No.
Why does she have supervisors?
For like dissertations, like research projects.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. You have supervisors who will call you defensive and angry. I feel like I'm constantly trying to not come across as angry. It's like my predominant thought. How do I not come across? Because I'm not.
Yeah.
But I do be. But do you know?
I also think that that's like a stereotype that has been put on like black girls, like even like in secondary school, like you'd hear like I remember one experience so clearly, but it was a substitute teacher and he was obviously like looking at the class that we were in and everyone was talking, just us black girls were at the back, and he was like, you guys are always so loud.
Yeah.
Sir, like,
it's a pervasive thing.
everyone was talking and we weren't even that loud. But it's just that the words he used, you girls are always so loud, and it's like you don't even know us. But
how do you know it's always
so,
a strong word?
Exactly.
For somebody you've never met.
For someone you've never met, you girls are always so loud. You don't know us.
He's put a lot on that.
Yeah, and I think that comes down to like stereotypes, like hearing so many times that like black people are so loud and stuff like that. Like,
you know the funny thing is, I'm not even sure if somebody's directly told me, favorite, you're angry. Quite frankly, actually no. I get the opposite. God, you're always so bubbly. God, you're always. I get people telling me, are you ever like chill? Like, are you ever like unhappy? That's the kind of rhetoric I hear. Yes, in my mind, when I walk into a space, my first thought, especially in the hospital, is make sure you don't come across as angry. Yeah. Why is that? No one has even said it to me directly. I get the opposite, but in my mind, and maybe that's why I'm hyper happy.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I'm constantly giving this energy of super happy, super flamboyant. Maybe because I'm so afraid of a silence being misinterpreted as anger
that's another discussion actually. That sometimes even when you do put like your best energy out there, whether that's all the time that you are genuinely like that the moment you decide, oh, I'm not actually going to say anything, or like I'm not physically like capable to like be talking to many people, they think
you're upset.
Yeah, people think you're upset or something's happened to you. Like, can I actually not have peace?
Personally speaking, I cannot be flat anymore.
Yeah.
Because my baseline is happy. I won't lie. I won't lie.
That's a good thing.
My baseline is cheerful, and you know I gotta skip to my step. I'm a happy person.
Yeah.
But because how I just demonstrate that is rather not here. Like, I'm happy at baseline, but that looks like a 10 to most people.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm not gonna lie, that's my 5. That's my personal 5. If I acted like my 10, you would make the 4. Yeah. And only few people have seen my actual 10. My 10 is really out there. But my baseline is a 5, but to other people it comes across as a 5, as a 10.
Yeah.
So I can't be flat. I'm not allowed anymore. Because the moment I'm like, not at my own 5 and I'm at my own 2, they think it's depression.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, hey, are you okay? What happened? I'm just not at my 5 today.
Yeah.
So I find that I have to psych myself up then because I don't want to hear it. I don't like that people then know. He's like, allow me to be quiet today.
Yeah.
I'm not depressed. It's just what it is. But I don't get that luxury anymore because I'm constantly at 5. And what am I going to do? Put myself to a 3 so
yeah.
How do you
You can't be doing that.
How? Anyway, you'll have supervisors who will call you defensive and angry, and you'll project their own prejudice stereotypes onto you as you walk into the room. Wow, this is the next time I'm saying how to cry in private. Wow. I remember one day I was on the wards, I was an intern year, my first year as a doctor. I was having a shit time. It was a bad day. I was at the computer desk. Tears. It was just coming. And the CNN could see me crying, and I respect that woman because she left me alone. It was such a, because I was like, if I have to explain to you what's going on, like, I don't even have, just leave me. But she saw me crying in a very public place and left me. And she read the room appropriately.
Yeah.
For some people, like, if she had come to me and said, oh, baby, you okay? It would have been the wrong thing. I didn't need that in that moment. I needed my moment to let it out. It wasn't a private space, but I could not control myself. I was just having a really, really, really shit day that day. And the tears were just, God, I don't ever want to be an intern again. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Cry in private. Write a killer essay and prove them wrong. You will. I hate that we have to. I'm over this part of life. I'm not proving nobody shit anymore. I'm proving nothing to nobody.
Yeah.
I know me. I know who I am, and I'm not proving nothing to nobody. You deal with the fact that you're not happy with how I am. So this part I disagree with. Anyway, you will also have supervisors who understand and appreciate your need to veil your work in your own experiences, who will recognize its value and reward you for it. So bathe every essay in black girl magic and write in resistance to the Eurocentrism of academia that did not see you coming. Wow.
Sorry, can I also go back to the killer essay?
Yeah, yeah.
Because even at that, with like
Write a
not
killer
having
essay.
not write the killer essay. So I forget the point that you said.
I commented on prove them wrong. I don't want to prove anymore.
I agree with that. But I was thinking the way I had took the killer essay based on like from reading the whole book, I took that meaning that like show like every single part of yourself, show that you're there, recognize me for the good work that I do. That's the way I took it from reading
the whole book.
Yeah.
I get that you have the context of the book, and I'm not going to dismiss that.
Yeah.
Just as a thought that comes into my mind, I'm not going to focus on the black girl, just black people in general. I just want to very briefly talk on the fact that we often find ourselves having to have excellence as the baseline. It's annoying after all. Most white people just get to do the job at a basic level, and they get recognition. Not super recognition, they get simple recognition, like, oh, they get a job for doing the basics. We have to be excellent to get the basics, and it's really frustrating.
And I actually was having this conversation with someone recently about literally what you were saying about excellence and having to prove yourself that, okay, I'm doing this and get recognition.
Like, because we're the 1% and the only person in the room,
Yeah.
for example, me being Nigerian and then being a pediatric doctor. Now, there are actually other Nigerian pediatric doctors, but I have to be, and I feel this pressure, I have to be very excellent because I don't want anyone anywhere to think, geez, those Nigerians are bad at that being these doctors. Anyways, look at them up.
Yeah.
Don't want that out there.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like representing black people, representing Nigerians. It's a lot, like, it's a lot.
Yeah. I completely understand that because that's what I feel like, especially when I'm teaching Irish, that I don't want.
God, I haven't even asked you that.
Like,
imagine, I think you think probably hasn't happened, but like, imagine a parent going, how's that one teaching Irish?
God forbid.
God forbid is correct.
God forbid.
Particularly us Nigerians, right? I feel like sometimes our motivation for excellence isn't even me and my friends talk about this. One of my friends, she's a surgical trainee. I remember us having this conversation in med school, and we were talking about technique, like, for example, percussion, when you listen to the lungs, there's medical techniques. I remember us thinking, and we use that exactly, the whole God forbid thing. You know why? We were thinking, imagine a world where someone was correcting your medical technique in examination, and we were disgusted at the idea of somebody correcting us. That was the level of standard we hold ourselves at, because we were like, ain't no way we're going to give you room to correct our technique, because it's more than just you correcting us. Even though we're in school to learn, we are literally there to correct us. The thought of being corrected was such a grievously terrible thing, because it was a direct reflection of who we were as people in the context of being black, and we just were like, no, we can't give these white people an opportunity to correct us. We gotta be excellent. When we're literally in school to learn this very thing. So we were going out of our way to teach ourselves things that we were supposed to be taught. Like, if you think about it, I'm like, the pressure we carry is insane.
Yeah.
The pressure we carry as black people is insane. How are you in school to learn something and not even giving your teachers a chance to teach you because you're so afraid of being boxed into unable to do a thing? These white kids are not doing that. Their daddies and their daddies' daddies and their daddies' daddies were doctors from the time past. They're in med school because it's their inheritance. And they're not thinking for 1 second about whether someone's going to correct their percussion technique, or their auscultation or whatever the hell they're doing. They're thinking about actually nothing. They're chilling. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Being black is a lot. Jack, I'll do one more paragraph and move on. It's not always easy though. The black Jacobins you really want to read probably won't be on your reading list. You won't find the support you need when you want to write your dissertation on Nigeria and trying to go the extra mile to show supervisors what a decolonized curriculum could look like. I'll pause here and say, somebody swapped up to my Instagram. She was a midwife, now is studying nutrition. We had a conversation about this kind of stuff. And when she was in school, she mentions to her lecturer, when she was a midwifery student, that black babies perform differently from a milestone perspective. Like, I don't know if this is true, but we were discussing the potential that like a black baby will roll over faster, say, than a Caucasian baby. Because honestly, we just be like that. We be a bit more extra from birth, like. And she was saying it to her lecturers that, oh, black babies might not actually fit this milestone because we might actually progress faster for whatever reason, who knows. And the lecturer was like, oh, that's very interesting. And then the lecturer was like, will you give a talk to the class on diversity in this space? And I asked her what she said. She was like, no. I said, no, I'm paying fees to learn. I'm not delivering nothing. You go fix your curriculum.
Yeah.
And you develop that. I'm not going to teach it. And I was like, fair enough.
Yeah.
You are paying fees.
Yeah.
You are here to learn.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to deliver this information.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, they should be going out there and
you got to do it.
you go out and go in. Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah, and I think that ties into that thing. Actually, I think in the letters, so at some point she goes on to saying about not taking the box for the diversity box, taking the diversity box, and just you explaining that girl's experience there about how the lecturer asked if she wanted to give a talk on that. Like, get somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
Or
If you think
it's
exactly
that important,
you go
why
find
don't you
someone.
go out
Hire-
there yourself
yeah, literally.
about it and
Literally.
deliver it yourself?
Yeah, literally go out of your way, find an expert in pediatric milestones who specializes in African kids, and I bet you that exists because PhDs are popping out of nowhere these days. You know, somebody somewhere is fascinated by this concept. Find them, invite them to teach your class, and let everybody learn. Don't put it on me, the only black person in the class, to teach you how to, you know, not be freaking racist.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and I want us to wrap up, so I'm gonna take control of the look now. This is not you.
That is me on my good days. Oh, but actually, this is my good day too. Like,
No, but like seriously.
it is me. Why?
It looks like an older sister. Why do you look younger today? She's like, I'm offended.
That is.
You look much younger today. Okay, this is you in like 30 years.
No.
Black don't crack, baby. How are you looking younger than your photos? You look younger in 2024 than you did in the Big Awards in 2022. That's crazy. Are you aging the wrong way? What are you using? Why are you using this
I'm
skin?
not aging the wrong way.
No, what I mean is, if you look younger in 2024 than 2022, you're aging in reverse.
I take that as a compliment.
It is compliments. So what you be putting on your skin?
Oh, La Roche Posay. SPF. La Roche Posay.
What's that?
Pop into boots. I put on Geo Africa.
You probably have this on your TikTok.
No.
Oh, you don't? Okay. How come you don't comment on your TikTok? It's not part of the fashion thing.
Yeah.
Look, guys, they should follow her on TikTok because she be giving tips. Okay, this. I didn't even comment on this. Sorry. You put that in the box for a reason.
I did put that in the box for a reason.
Tell us.
So that's a picture from the B.I.G Awards 2022, and it was the first time that I was nominated for Educator of the Year.
Okay.
So I
the
put
first
that
time, so there'll be more times.
Well, it was just 2 times, but this was the first year that I was nominated. But yeah, it was a really nice experience.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's other educators out in Ireland, and black educators out in Ireland. But it was just a nice recognition to be nominated, and I appreciate that.
That it speaks to the benefit, but the advantages of social media. Like you can be doing a lot of great things and you look around Ireland that nobody knows about, and that doesn't diminish what you're doing. But there's a certain advantage that comes with being online.
Yeah, and also wanted to touch back onto discussing about getting recognition. Yeah, that there are many people out in Ireland, wherever, whether they represented Irish,
Ross
doing
Island and
yeah,
Leitrim,
doing
Island
absolutely phenomenal work.
Yeah, and we can't
And yeah, we cannot underestimate that. But there is a certain level to being out there and getting recognised when you do like absolutely like amazing things.
Yeah.
Like that does not diminish whatever work you're doing. Like whether it's you getting on with your daily life, whatever that is and whatever that looks like for you, you're doing amazing.
Yeah.
But just because you're out there in government buildings and all that,
trailblazing
like
doesn't mean
that doesn't mean that someone else isn't.
Yeah.
There's people everywhere that's doing something. Maybe they're just not sharing it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that that's important.
That is absolutely important to say. But it's funny how like so far the people I've spoken to on my channel are people that I know in my real life, but some of them are people that I've met online.
Mm-hmm.
I met you online.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Isaac, who is now my editor, I actually interviewed him first. After that interview, I said to myself, I'm gonna just put this out there. He can either say yes or he can say no. But I like the vibe I'm getting. Will you please join my team? And the rest is history. Do you know what I mean? So we've connected online. Like he's all the way in Nigeria. He's a medical student in Nigeria who's like into videography, cinematography, storytelling. The guy is a wizard. He's so creative. But he has a lot going on too. That's why I interviewed him in the first place.
Yeah.
And now we're like low-key best friends.
Mm-hmm.
Like we both had exams at the same time. We were texting each other every day, and so we're studying together. And you know, I may have interviewed him, and he feels like he hasn't achieved the things he wants to. But I just interviewed him because I was like, okay, you have cool interests. Let me talk to you. And from there, look at what has developed. Do you know what I mean? And you know, I've been following you for quite a while, and I don't want to talk about today why I started following you, but we will be back to talk about that in the future. And why we actually connected in the first place.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking about my channel a lot and what kind of people I want to talk to. And I actually feel like there's a certain level of success that I don't want to talk to. And the reason why is I want to capture stories of cool people on the ground in the communities. You know, like I don't really see the benefits of talking to who's somebody really famous. I don't think know. But there's a certain level of fame there that I don't know if I'm interested. I want to talk to the guys who are doing the thing at the moment. And actually, that's what my channel, and I think that's why I don't want to talk to those people yet. Or maybe I want to talk to them when I'm at their level too, and it'll be different headspace. But because I'm actively building, I want to talk to people who are actively building.
Yeah.
Because that's where I'm at, and I'm trying to document my journey. So I want to document other people's journeys simultaneously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm building, you're building, and I want to talk to you because you're building. That's like literally, I'm growing, you're growing. Let's talk about our growth. And I don't really want to talk to the person who's actually achieved the thing. Because you're still valuable and I can learn a lot from you. But this is the headspace I'm in. I'm currently, you know, in my grind phase of life.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to people in their grind phase. Like catching you now, I think it's phenomenal. You're literally 1 week into your journey, officially. Now I can bring you back on this channel when you're 10 years into the journey. You know what I mean? You'll have a lot more to say, a way more experience behind you. But it'll be interesting to see what's come. And it's already interesting to see what your 4 years of college has done to you. What your life has done to you, and your intentions going forward. You know, how you want to teach, what kinds, that whole conversation about being kind. That to me is fascinating. Because I'm in that headspace. I'm also developing as a person, as a doctor. Who do I want to be? What kind of doctor do I want to be? That's actively happening right now. And that's why I want to have these conversations right now, record these videos right now. I think in 20 years, when I look back on my channel, and I'm like some big shot consultant, it will be fascinating to watch back on these things and go, wow, in 2024 I actually disrespected another doctor. It'd be interesting to watch this and to think, am I disrespectful now as a consultant, or did I really keep to my word out there?
Yeah.
Did I remain kind for 20 odd years when I rewatched this video in 20 odd years? And actually that's the power of social media.
Yeah.
It's not just for the people, it's also for me. It's the collection of my live thoughts. And that's such a great speed. I'm gonna snip this whole thing and post it because people be asking me, what is the point of your channel? That's the point of my channel, bro. I'm documenting me and everybody that I'm meeting. I meet so many cool people.
And that's the power of connection.
That's the power
It's
of
good to
connection.
connect.
It's good to connect. I feel like this is gonna have something to do with connection. Is this a light source?
It's a light source.
Okay.
It actually doesn't work.
Okay.
I fell it on the floor recently and
Aww.
it just, I won't turn it on, but I have another one. But anyway, this, I usually just clip it onto my phone.
Yeah, I can see that it's a clipper.
Yeah, and I was
Okay.
using it to record a lot of my videos. during my third and final year of college. So obviously, if you've been watching my account, you'll see that I do like vlogs and stuff when I was in college or out in schools. But yeah, that's been a part of my journey. The fact that I'm sharing my journey.
The fact that you're sharing your journey.
Yeah.
Why do you share your journey?
I share my journey because, but when I first started my account and talking to like my friends, like from primary and secondary school, and friends like from outside of school, and we had many discussions before, and we were like, oh, like the fact that there's not been like, we've never had like black teachers and stuff like that, and I thought like this is my journey in becoming the teacher that I never had, and as I know other people also can't relate, so I wanted to share my journey, learn from myself, see what I'm like first year, second year, third year, fourth year, see how I've come, and I've grown so much. So I think it's a powerful thing to share your journey, meet other people, because even from just sharing my journey, I've connected with people that are like already teaching years, and like they're interested in like diversity and education, and I've met other people that are thinking of doing primary school teaching and just like giving them some advice or whatever. And I've talked a few times about like race and racism, whatever I've gone through, whether it's been in college, and and spreading awareness about things that really matter, and just active citizenship and stuff like that. So I think there's well, now actually this summer, as part of Goal Next Gen, I don't know if you know Goal. So Goal is an organisation that works towards supporting like communities in like different countries and providing them with support. But this program anyways that I was a part of was a group of like participants from Ireland, Uganda, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, like lots of different places around the world, and we came together and we had Zoom sessions. We talked about global citizenship, whether it's to do with like climate change, gender conflict. We also talked about power and social change, and it was really, really interesting to like, okay, yeah, I'm living in Ireland and I hear about what's going on in the world, but hearing from other people's like current experiences in whatever country or situation they're in, that's different to just reading whatever you see online. That's completely different.
I don't know what the correct word is, but it's like, I remember this from primary school maybe, in history class, where they talked about like first accounts information. I don't know if the can remember this. It's like there's a first account, as like you get information and it's your first time hearing it, and that's like a type of it's a media type thing. I'll Google it and I'll put it in the screen. If you get information from somebody about their life right now, that's a first account thing. But then if I read a book about their life, I think it's like a second account. Second-hand information. But then if you read a newspaper about the book, that's like another level. But each way you're missing something.
Yeah, you are missing something.
Yeah, there's nothing like talking to the source.
No.
Yeah, it gets watered down.
It gets watered down is correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why I'm fascinated about like culture and the documentation of culture through music in particular, because I'm interested in music, but also through like our parents literally telling you stuff firsthand about their experience, you know, because that's how culture is passed down.
Yeah.
And if you don't talk to the source, you're losing out. You're losing out.
Yeah.
So amazing. Okay, the last thing in the box is this.
Oh.
Miss
No.
Chukwu. Wow. Miss Chukura.
Miss Chukura or Chukura.
Chukura. I was close.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. Miss Chukura. Part of me and him are talking here, and I still can't say his first name. Just don't take it personally. Oh, sorry.
I give up.
You give it up on me.
Don't give up on her.
I'm gonna get it. Devon.
It happened all my life. That's what. It's not like you know me wrong. I get Devon.
I should have laughed.
This is what we were saying at the start. If people get your name wrong, make sure you correct them.
Yeah.
Because that's
too high.
Yeah, it's too high.
I spent the whole year talking divine, and like now I'm like kind of incorrect. It's just a lot. Devon.
I should care more about it, but I really don't.
Because your energy level is like, I can't keep doing this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I'm making a business decision.
Okay, how do we involve this entire interview? Tell me about this, please. Ooh, do you know what? Let's do two at the same time. I forgot to say the piece.
Oh,
This and this.
okay, yeah. So this pencil, I put that in the box because I love to draw. Like I was saying, I love art, and yeah, I think that's a very important part of myself. I've always liked drawing. Yeah, I'd say I'm a creative person because of that. And then that wooden stick is actually what I use in my classroom. I don't know if you remember when you were in primary school yourself, anytime like the teacher had like any questions or like if she wanted to, or if they wanted to give a job in the class, that they would pick out like a random name and they'd use like a wooden stick or whatever type of.
I don't have that particular memory, but
Oh, you know.
No.
But anyway, that's what I've done quite a bit, like on different placements, or I've seen other teachers do that. So I wanted to incorporate it into
Your box.
my first classroom. So I put it into the
That was
box.
such a great way to chat. It actually took us to so many places. It was beautiful. Way more than me trying to remember a list of questions.
Yeah.
So I'm certainly liking that vibe. But your last thought there reminded me of another thing. Did you ever have a thing called Lucky Dip?
Lucky dip. That sounds so familiar.
Every Friday you bring out a box. And I can't remember how you got yourself into the box. I think maybe you had to have a certain number of stars during the weekend.
Yeah.
Whatever. Somehow you landed yourself in a position where you could like have a lucky dip. So you put your hand in the box, you couldn't see, you rummage through, and you get a toy or you get a thing or whatever. And Friday mornings, lucky dip.
You're unlocking childhood memories.
Key memory.
Yeah.
Key memory. So you don't have memories of lucky dip?
I do have memories, like I definitely remember doing that, but I don't remember what it was for.
Yeah, neither do I. I think about it when I rewarded with you. I can't remember.
Yeah.
Maybe not everyone got to go to the lucky dip.
That's the thing, I'm like, I feel like I remember multiple people getting it.
I don't remember. Are you guys doing that in your school? Is that a thing?
Well, in my class, I have 3 different reward systems. So I have like table and group work because I like collaboration. I like people working in teams and collaborating together. So I have a reward system for groups. At the end of the week, the table of the week.
I remember that concept. Word of Shopna. I remember that concept.
Yeah.
For sure.
Over the week anyways, they get points for working well as a group. And they get a nice box where there's like markers, gel pens, all the cool things that you would have wanted to be doing your drawing or colouring in with. Then I know in many different schools they do like student of the week. Where you just pick a student that has been good, or shown some type of growth, whatever area it's been in during the week, and there's usually one every week. And then lastly, I don't know if you've heard of Class Dojo. I don't know if we had it when we were in primary school. Class Dojo?
No.
Well, anyways, Class Dojo, I don't remember us having it in primary school either, but it's basically an online site. You have all of your students in your class, they can create their own monster on it, and if they're doing whatever work, if they do good work and they're listening, they're cooperating with their groups or whatever it is, you can give them a point. And if you can do it by at the end of the week, whoever has the most points, or you can do it by if you reach a certain amount of points, you win something. So
amazing. Before we wrap up, what time are we at? Like on the physical level? 1. Okay, we're doing okay. Just about doing okay. One last question.
Yeah.
Because I really want to talk about this. It was my first question on the list. Accents.
Accents, yes, yeah.
I'm not going to say nothing. General thoughts, what's on your mind?
General thoughts come to my mind. We've done that quite a few times, even as we've been speaking to.
Yes, we have.
We can
easily went back and forth. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We did it a lot.
Yeah, we did it a lot. Yeah, I would say obviously being specifically being in college, a lot of the time, as I'm speaking to you now, that's how I was speaking to my college peers or lecturers or whatever. But in primary or secondary, because it was a lot much more diverse and you had lots of different friends from different backgrounds, Nigerian or wherever they were from, it was easy to speak in your normal accent that you'd speak, or like speak pidgin English because they understood that your home accent, because they'd understand, you know what I mean? And they related to the fact that they changed their accents when they came outside of their house, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's a good question.
I don't even know what to say. I will say that for me, accent at home is a thought. So I'll continue with that train of thought. And the train of thought being, I think for me, I have accents as per people and accents as per location.
Yeah.
So I have my own accent that I speak to with my siblings.
Yeah.
It's not pidgin, but it's not I have a Jobestown accent. I'm very Jobe, I live in Jobestown, grew up in Jobestown, I got my Jobestown accent. It's not pidgin, it's not Jobestown, it's not Nigerian. I don't really know how I speak to my siblings, but we've got our own thing. So I have my siblings' accent, I have my workplace accent, how I speak to my patients and my colleagues, certainly not Jobestown. I don't bring that energy to it. No offense to Jobestown, I love being from the D24. I love it, it's part of who I am. But don't carry that forward because of some weird thing about it not being professional. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why I think that. Whereas there's a particular I've met at the moment. She's got a very Southside Irish accent. Whenever I see her, I somehow find myself speaking in that Southside accent again. I don't know why I do it. I think she brings it out of me. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, oh, let's keep our voices stuff. I don't people to know. Is that bad? Yes, it's terrible. But I don't know why I'm like that.
Yeah.
I got my accent when I have with my Nigerian friends, like my Nigerian friends, the ones who are from Nigeria, grew up in Nigeria. And for some reason, please, I don't know why, I don't like talking to them like that. And recently I've been telling them, lads, can we, no one is there. Nobody, it's just us. But I'm like, can we please not talk like this?
Yeah.
Why am I doing that?
I don't know why you're doing
Because nobody is
But
there.
you know what though?
Why am I being triggered? There's something happening in my head.
I completely
Because why
understand.
is it? It's a group of black people in the
Yeah.
room. It's a group of Nigerians in the room. It's a group of Nigerians who grew up in Nigeria. I'm the only one who grew up abroad, for example. Why do I care about what we sound like? No one is there to hear us. Why am I having this internal dialogue? I need to sit down and think about that. Why am I bothered? Why am I bothered? Because no one can hear us right now. You have complete freedom to speak how you feel. Yet you're triggered in your head. Why?
Yeah. That's a good question.
I need to figure out why. Why am I triggered? Why am I triggered? I don't know. What is it? What is my problem? So I've got a lot of accents, like a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Accents are phenomenally interesting, and the fact that there's thoughts about like whether one should be better or whether one should fit a place or whatever is an interesting concept. What are your thoughts on my thoughts?
Your thoughts on my thoughts on your thoughts. I'm thinking a lot about like intersectionality, and I think accents also play a part in people's what's the word? Like people's opportunities in some type of way.
You hit a string. Keep going. You hit a string.
So like, okay, yeah, it's one thing to be whatever gender you are. It's one thing to be a specific type of race. It's one thing to be from a specific type of background. It's one thing to be like your location. It's one thing your age. One thing
is the right summary demographics, or is that the wrong word? That's the wrong social word. Wrong word. Okay. Continue.
And I think accents also play like there's lots of things in intersectionality, but I also think accents play a part in like your, I don't know if it's opportunities is a word, not opportunities, but like or experiences. Yeah, like your access. And I think what you were saying with like in your like friendship group one time when you were saying like, oh, let's not
talk like this.
Let's not talk like this.
Let's talk more like this. Why can't we be like this? Why can't we talk like this when we hang out? Why do we have to go to the freaking Nigerian accent nuts? Why do we have to do it?
Yeah.
Why do we have to do it?
Why?
What's wrong
think,
with it?
yeah, like I don't want to say that it's only boiled down to the fact that maybe from experiences people have commented on our accents before, and for that reason it's like, okay, this accent is not actually appropriate in whatever setting that someone may have said, oh, like, you know, and like I even know myself, like years, I don't know who said it to me, but I do know people being like, oh, why do you talk like that, or stuff like that. So I think whatever I've heard, like, over time, that's obviously, like, kind of in some ways stuck with me, that you're like, don't speak like that when you're in this type of setting. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys that this is my actual journal. It's not my it's not like a YouTube thing. This is my first time doing this.
Yeah.
So this is my actual journal. A lot of personal stuff is in here, and I put in a note to reflect accent, intersectionality, opportunities, access. And I think that you hit a few points there. I'm gonna leave it at this because I don't have a response.
Yeah.
This is the max level of how much information I have in my brain. I'm gonna think about this. Not necessarily like go home and think about it, but it's gonna come to me naturally. And I'm gonna have something more to say on this topic. But I think you hit the nail on the head. It is due to conversations we've had. It is due to my perception of, if I speak like this, it will limit my opportunities. I think that's what it is. For example, me speaking in my Southside Dublin accent with a nurse and then thinking, where do I want to hear this? Is that because I don't want maybe my rich consultant from the North Dublin to hear me speaking like, oh, these speakers from the South? And then is that me going, that will limit me in an interview? Because it's probably not true. This is all in my head. But like, am I in my subconscious going, that will limit me from being able to access job progression because they think I'm not one of them?
Yeah.
I think it's social profiling.
It's social. Demographics was the word I kept using, but it's social profiling. And I'm obviously very conscious about my opportunities. Clearly, I care. And I'm not gonna lie, I do care. I've spoken about the fact that I want to be rich. So I care. I'm not gonna lie about that. So then obviously if I care about my progression rate and career, and I think that my accent will limit my social, what should you say?
You will be
socially profiled. So I'm afraid of social profiling. Is that the conclusion?
So that will limit, like you make I think it's a subconscious decision that I'm not gonna speak in this accent because it will limit my opportunities or your prospects. And your accent attributes to the access or the exposure or the opportunity.
Yeah. I will add to the viewers, I started therapy like 2 weeks ago, very new. So we're going to take this to the therapist. We're going to say, Favor has problems with social profiling. How can we unpack that? Because I want to be free of all the mental jargon in my head. I want to go into a space and take up space. I think that's a beautiful way to end.
Oh, that's a beautiful way to end.
What a great conversation. Thank you so much for coming. Take the 2-hour journey, bus, train, the whole lot to get here. You're phenomenal. I appreciate you. And I'll be honest, this is going to take a while to come out. We're talking about 3 months maybe. I try to get the guys on board and get them out, but my videos will take a long time to come out. So whenever it does come out, I think this conversation will shape the culture. I think it'll be the start of other conversations. And that's the hope, right? If somebody watches this and goes, and they talk to their friends and they have a freedom of, okay, that's what I've been feeling. And then maybe a kid who's 16 watches this and goes, God, that's how I've been feeling. Okay, how do I address this?
Yeah.
And that'll be the hope. So everybody, take up space.
Yes. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're so welcome. My pleasure.